Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening for wherever you may be. I hope you're all having a lovely, an amazing, and incredible Friday. I know I am. Today, well, not today, this week has been great for me because my team won the Premier League. I am a lifelong Arsenal supporter. I've been waiting 22 long years for this, but we are champions. And we may be double champions this season. Who knows? But it's been a great week. I've been basking in that, especially as most of my family are Tottenham supporters. So I just get to throw it in their face that my team won and their team still might be relegated. So football talk is honestly been a wonderful, great week. I know it's Friday and some of us, hopefully all of us, are going into a long weekend. In England, we're going to have, I think most of the UK actually, we're going to have a lovely hot weekend. I think it's 27 degrees at the moment here, and it's going to be 31 or 32 degrees on Bank Holiday Monday. So I'm looking forward to baking into a weekend of sunshine, hot weather, and showing off to my Tottenham supporting family that my team won and they might be relegated. Sunday is going to be a fun day in my family. For me, not so much for the rest of my family. Anywho, let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. We're not here to talk about football or life and what's happening. I want to talk about this. Amazon Plus. Sorry, not Amazon Plus. Alexa Plus podcast. What is this? I only found out about this about 90 minutes ago. I was putting some conditioner or something. I was doing something to my hair and I had YouTube on in the background. I was catching up on a live stream that I had missed and this popped up and the streamer casually went past it and I was like, wait, what? What is this Alexa Plus service? Which sent me down a very quick, like a 5-minute rabbit hole because I was doing my hair and I'm still haven't got full use of my right hand yet. So things are still a little bit slow. But I was like, what exactly is Amazon's premium Alexa Plus service? And how is it going to generate AI podcasts on demand? I was like, this is very unsurprising turn of events. I'm not surprised that they're offering a service like this. It was pretty predictable that this will happen. But what I'm really curious to know is how is this going to come into effect like independent voices, independent podcasters who don't have the backing of big corporations to be plugged into a service like this, or how are things going to be synthesized. So it's a bit of a carry on of what we were talking about earlier in the week about discoverability in the AI age. So this has really got me interested. I'm not saying that I'm going to become an Amazon Alexa Plus AI generated podcast or something like that. I'm just very curious, like is it going to affect independent voices? How are things going to be synthesized? It's a rabbit hole that I would love to deep dive into. And because I said on Tuesday that I would go live again today, well, after my 5-minute research, I've just popped up online and thought, hey, we can just look into it together. Well, honestly, this is not a surprising evolution in the world of podcasts. We've seen podcasts evolve so much in the past decade alone. And we're seeing more and more corporations and conglomerates almost monopolize the podcasting landscape. And take of it what you will, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. or you prefer heavily produced podcasts, or you prefer something a bit more raw and not unfiltered. Up to you. You know, there is no right or wrong opinion, but it's just interesting how this is going and where we're going with it. Again, I'm still not surprised that this is happening. Not at all. I was curious. If you wanted to start a brand new podcast tomorrow and you don't have the backing of anyone who's doing it solely, you and your friends or you by yourself, you want to do it, how are you going to get discovered now? How's your voice going to get out there? We're seeing more and more like power dynamics and power consolidating into the hands of a few, and that many of us are being left out. And we have seen it happen more rapidly. So I'm very curious. Some people may think, you know, I'm over podcasts anyway. There's too many of them. Way too many of them. Let the big corporations take over because there's just too much podcasts now. Everyone's got a podcast. Right? But maybe... anyway, take of it what you will. Form your own opinions. I would love to know what your opinions are. But seeing just this announcement of at face value that Amazon's now offering, let me see, did it actually roll it out this week? But on Alexa Plus, the Alexa Plus service, they're gonna have AI generated podcasts on demand. So I'm gonna assume, I haven't looked into it properly, but you speak into your Alexa device, and many homes have Alexa devices. I remember looking into it a few years. I think almost half of the homes in the UK have some type of Alexa device, whether it is an actual Echo, or because they have a Prime subscription, or otherwise. But I think more than half of homes in the UK have got an Alexa device, or roughly half. The last time I looked, that has been a while since I looked, so that may have changed. Who knows? Hopefully it's less. Who knows? I'm trying to get people a bit more offline, not to stop being as chronically online as we all are. Anywho, my assumption is you speak into your Alexa device, or however you connect to Alexa, and you say, generate me a podcast on subject A, B, C, D, F, G, whatever it may be. And it's going to synthesize all the collective, it's going to do some research and synthesize a collective bunch of research is done into that particular topic for you, and spit you out a podcast on that. So this is the part where it's interesting about discoverability, because what is it researching? What information is being synthesizing, which directly relates to what we were discussing earlier in the week about discoverability. So I saw this tweet on someone's live stream this morning, so I had to pop over to Twitter, I'm not apologising, I still call it Twitter. I will never call it by its rebranded name. It's always going to be Twitter to me. So I was like, let me go and see it, because there's something I love to do is read the comments. I love the comment section and the chat section. I want to understand what people are thinking about these things, how they've interpreted it. And so we get a bit more understanding in the next tweet. It's like a tiny thread of what kind of things they've done. So TechCrunch has done an article about it, so you can get podcasts created for you about summer football. I'm not calling it soccer, how dare you? Summer football tournament, which this year will be the World Cup. We've got the World Cup starting in a few weeks. Then this week's biggest music something, the rise and fall of Rome. I'm not going to go there. Mastering sourdough, okay? People still want to know how to make sourdough. Are we not over this sourdough craze yet? Is it not over yet? Are we still trying to understand sourdough? Anyway, going off track. But let's have a look at the actual comments, the replies, I mean. So, the sentiment doesn't seem that positive for this service. I think this person here makes a very valid point that most people hating on this service, in brackets, I hate it too, are still willing to pay thousands of dollars to Amazon a year for one thing after another. Vote with your money. I agree. I agree with that, to be honest. But someone else says, isn't the point of podcasts hearing someone's opinion and perspectives on something? If it's just spewing information to me, what's the difference between this and just asking a question? That's a very valid point and question. It's a pointed question, but very valid. I see the point. I agree with it. And then, just the meme, but why? But why? Yeah. I mean, I think we can all understand the why. This sounds like a nightmare and should be illegal. This is what we are basing world resources on. Why? Who the F needs something like this? Okay. So, we've got a lot of negative sentiment. Just the replies to this post. By the way, this was posted on May 18th. Today's the 22nd. So it is a few days old. But there is negative sentiment about this post. Or about this announcement. Not this post specifically. Poor Pop Craze was getting a bunch of hate in the comments. But from this announcement, there's quite a bit of negative sentiment. But Amazon are not the first ones to do AI generated podcasts. They're not the first, they're most definitely not going to be the last. So in September 2024, Google Notebooks, LLMs, they started doing their audio overviews. I've never used the service. If anyone has, please let me know. I'll be interested. My assumption is, again, it could be very wrong, but my assumption is if you have a Google Notebook up and you've got a bunch of stuff in it, it will just synthesize what you have and create an audio of what's in your notebook. But what makes this Amazon Alexa one different is what it's going to do to independent podcasting. Because we know that Amazon owns the demand side for many things. It's baked into our consumerism. I said before that roughly, the last time I checked, half of UK households have access to some type of Alexa Amazon product. So you've got things like Echoes, Prime, Amazon.com, Audible. And if those households also have access to Alexa podcast, what does that mean to independent voices? How do independent voices be baked into this? The demand for independent voices seems to be diminishing, which to me, my personal opinion, is quite worrying. So it hasn't been rolled out in the UK yet. I think it's just a US launch. But I know that the Alexa Plus assistant, I think it was rolled out to the UK in March of this year. Sorry, give me a sec. I need to take a sip. Yeah, I think it was rolled out in March of this year, which is really interesting. And if I remember correctly, when I was looking during my very brief research earlier, I saw that Amazon had signed licensing deals with more than 200 news organizations. For initial launch for this service is US only, So it's going to be US based news organizations at the moment, but it does create. So now they've created a pipeline to get you. Well, they've created like quite a smart pipeline to get news information to you. It is interesting. Does anyone use Alexa Plus? I had only heard about it like maybe about a month ago. I'd heard of it. I have Prime, but I don't use Alexa services. So, yeah, let me know if you are a Prime user. Sorry, if you are an Alexa Plus user. What's it like? Is it worth it? Because how much is it? Is it included in like Prime services, or is it because it's called Alexa Plus? I'm gonna assume that it is. No, let's look it up. Why am I doing this? How much is Alexa Plus? So Alexa Plus is free if you have an active Amazon Prime service. Okay, so it means I've got access to it because I've got an Amazon Prime service, Prime membership, and without the Prime membership, you can upgrade for £20 a month. Sorry, $19.99. I like to round up. £20 a month. Wow. And yes, I'm going to look at the AI overview. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. To use the service, you need an eligible Echo device, like the Echo Show. Okay. Okay, so at the moment, it's only via an Echo device. Okay, great. Let's have a look at the Amazon UK Alexa. I would play the video, but I don't think I've connected my browser audio to a stream yet, so it's gonna have to listen to me. What's new? We can chat naturally and flow freely between topics and requests. Get more done. Okay. Tailored to you. Ready where you are. Save a word. Okay. Can't you do that already? Can't you already do that with Echoes and using Alexa? Do they already have free flowing conversation? Are they not using Alexa Plus? Just default Alexa. Are they not natural conversations already? Okay. I haven't used an Alexa in many years, so I'm not sure. Interesting. Oh look, also interesting. So they've already got some partner organisations lined up, including Open Table, TripAdvisor, Ring, PA Media, Heart, Talksport, Kiss, The Independent, The Guardian, Sky News, Good Food, and Hive. I wouldn't be surprised if Alexa Plus podcast or the Alexa podcast they launch in the UK pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised. It was probably delaying, so we're probably using the US to understand the demand for that kind of service before rolling it out, and there may be some relegations. I still got football in mind. Regulations that they have to get over in the UK, but I wouldn't be surprised if this does launch. The Alexa podcast launches in the UK pretty soon, or by end of the year. I won't be surprised. But just looking at this, I mean, I haven't used Alexa in a very long time, but I'm not seeing the point in this Alexa Plus service. Having said that, the Alexa podcast, if I was a user of an Alexa compatible device, maybe the Alexa podcast would be more appealing to me. But Alexa podcast, I'm not seeing the point of it. So Alexa Plus, I'm not seeing the point of it. Anyway, sidetrack. Let's get back to Alexa podcast, and I'm going to change the tab because if I keep looking at Alexa Plus, I'll just go down the rabbit hole of Alexa Plus, where we are talking about Alexa podcast, not Alexa Plus. So it's just really interesting. How does this type of service that's got not the backing, but has partnered with various organizations, how is that going to dilute independent voices? How are independent voices going to be discovered? It's just looking like power consolidation, just more and more of it, and they're not even hiding it anymore. It's not even being hidden. It's just in our faces. And we're using tech as oh look, here's a shiny tech gimmick. It's looking more and more like power consolidation every single day. And because, well, I don't know how many like US households have an Alexa or a device or some sort that has Alexa capabilities, but because in the UK it's roughly half, that means they're going mass market. They're not trying to find a niche target audience. They're like absolutely mass market with this. So I wanna when I was watching the stream this morning, someone sent them, put in the chat. Not this morning. We're talking about what times. It was about 2 hours ago. I was watching the stream. Someone put in the chat a demo video of the Alexa podcast, and I really perked my ears because it was two AI generated hosts, all audio. And they were talking about a particular product that you can buy on Amazon. And what made my ears perk was one of the AI generated voices was a British voice. And I was like, interesting. I can't remember what they were talking about. They were talking about like an ointment. It was literally a podcast or demo of a podcast advertising an ointment, I think it was. And the visual of it, because they had a video podcast version of it they were showing. It was just a static image in the background of the product on Amazon. And I was like, this is very interesting. Very interesting. I'm really curious. I want to know how Amazon's going to handle the hallucination risk. Especially, you think about it, if you're asking your personal Alexa podcast to generate a podcast for news in my local area for Friday, the 22nd of May, 2026, how are they going to mitigate the hallucination risk when it's synthesizing from multiple media sources? Because we all know, as much as these LLMs have been improving, they absolutely still hallucinate. So I'm really curious, how are they going to mitigate this? Or not mitigate it, but what risk management is going to be done around this? And how are they going to audibly synthesize and cite as well? I'm curious. I'm very, very curious. Let's have a look. So what's it? Let's look it up. We've got the internet. While I was talking, I've got the internet in front of me. Amazon Alexa podcast, hallucination. Oh, hallucinations. All right, let's have a look at this Mashables article. Get rid of this ad. Don't want to see you. Sorry. I know you got bills to pay, but sorry. Alright, so on Mashable, their article that was released or published yesterday on May 22nd is Amazon's AI generated Alexa podcasts are utter pod slop. What fresh streaming hell is this? I mean, the Twitter comments, the Twitter replies to the pop craze announcement post had a lot of negative sentiment, but what is this article gonna tell us? Okay. It's a podcast, but make it hosted by two AI generated hosts talking to each other about the game last night. Reader, I hate it. I hate it. Ooh. Who wrote this article? Shannon, you got very, very strong opinions. Oh, and she's based in London. So, maybe this is going to be rolling out in the UK sooner rather than later. Oh, but we can't deny it. She hates it. She hates the service. Or maybe the prospect of it. Let me stop making assumptions on what she's going to say and actually just read it. So, announced on Tuesday, Amazon Alexa podcast is Amazon's latest venture for Alexa Plus, the company's rebooted AI-powered virtual assistant. Oh, is Alexa Plus a reboot of Alexa? Is not just the next, like the LLM enabled version of Alexa or something. I've really not been paying any attention to Alexa. If you know, please let me know. Described by this company as an AI generated audio episodes on any topic. These on-demand offerings essentially replace an entire team of human podcast producers and presenters with artificial intelligence. No documents or prep work needed. Yeah, okay, I'm not saying she's wrong here. I'm not saying she's wrong. But she's also looking at it from I understand why, because she's looking at it from inside of an organisation or inside of a team. What if you are genuinely just an independent person, or you and your friends want to come along and do a podcast, and you think your topic, your niche, whatever it may be, is worth other people listening to? How are you going to get discovered? And I understand that where she's coming from, as in people going to be out of work. Yeah, I get it. Job market is rough at the moment. Absolutely rough. When there's more than one type of audience that's going to be affected by this. It's essentially a big tech-backed pile of pod slop or AI-generated podcasts which are on the rise with other AI audio formats. A recent analysis by the Podcast Index found that 39% of recently uploaded podcasts were probably created using AI, with companies like Inception Point AI churning out for episodes. 39% of recently uploaded, I'm going to say audio podcasts. It's going to be my assumption. And I'm also going to click on this analysis. 39%. Not surprising. I actually thought it would have been more. I mean, on my site, I do have some audio generation for listening. I have audio generation using Edge for the listening functionality. in case you prefer listening rather than reading. Which I prefer listening rather than reading, if I'm honest. So I did it like partly selfishly for my own use case. I added listening functionality. So at the time of me publishing, and by publishing I mean committing to Git, I've got a GitHub action workflow that generates the audio for a note that I've written. So when it publishes, you can listen to it instead. And if I wanted to, I could, because I've already got the audio generated, I could release that as a podcast if I wanted to. I'm not going to. Maybe I will in the future. I have no plans to anyway, that's what I'm saying. So I could have my own podcast if I wanted to. But because it's not my voice, it's AI. Because it's Edge, by the way. So it's Edge audio that I'm using. It is AI generated version. AI generated audio reading word for word my note. That's why I haven't released it as a podcast, because the human ear is so delicate. And yes, I have got the listening functionality, and you can listen to my notes, but you're not going to get my inflection, my emotion in my voice. So if I wanted to release it on an audio service, a podcast service, I would prefer to do it myself, read it myself, so that you can hear my inflections, you can hear my emotion. And like you're seeing right now in this live stream, I like to talk with my hands, and I move about a lot. And you're not going to get that with AI. Not at the moment. You may get it, but not today. Not on May 22nd, 2026. It's not here yet. Alright. So, what else is Shannon saying? Now, Amazon's joining the surge with Alexa podcasts. Users, anyone with Prime membership, can ask for AI assistant to cover any topic from news roundups to sports results to the consensus of movie reviews, and let you adjust for length and direction conversationally. That means you can pick both the AI assistant's personalities. These are dubbed Alexa, Brief, Sweet, Chill, and Sassy. Sassy. Okay. And its conversational style, from concise and efficient to warm and conversational. Then Alexa would generate a short episode with the two AI hosts, which will be sent to your Echo device and the Alexa app. Okay. This is going to have a massive impact on the discoverability of independent voices. Huge. And I don't like it. I just want to say it simply as that. I don't like it. I'm not surprised by it. Not surprised in the slightest. It was almost predictable that this is going to happen, especially in recent years, where you're getting more and more organizations and companies spending a lot of money doing podcasts, the advertising they're putting into it, the production quality they're doing to it. You know, a lot of people now get their news sources, their news being synthesized via a podcast host. This is now just removing the human podcast host. That bit. Their thoughts, their opinions. But if you want to start a podcast tomorrow with your friends, it was already a tough landscape to get into. This has just made it a little bit harder. Just a little bit harder. Very interesting. But if you like this, you think it's a great idea, also please let me know that you do like it and why you like it. I do try my best to see both points of views. And right now, I'm not seeing much of the... I'm lying. I do see the benefits. If you want a very custom synthesized audio podcast on a particular topic, this is great. This is great. But I also see the other side of it. Bad for independent voices, hallucination risk, consolidation of power. There are definitely pros and cons. And I would honestly love to hear your take on it. What you think, whether you're for it, against it, a little bit in the middle. It's a very nuanced conversation. It's not black and white, it's not binary. You might be for some parts, against some parts. I would genuinely love to hear your opinion on this Friday afternoon when you should be enjoying yourself and winding down for the weekend. Where do we get out to in this article? I've lost it. Okay, so without a human research team, where is all the precious information coming from? According to Amazon, over 200 news publications have signed up as sources, including local US newspapers as well as Associated Press, Reuters. I always say that wrong. It's Reuters, right? Reuters? The Washington Post. Isn't the Washington Post owned by Jeff Bezos? So you would hope that they will be signed up, right? Time, Forbes, Business Insiders, Politico, USA Today, and publications from Condé Nast, Hearst, and Vox. Okay. This is giving me, what's that Apple service? Is it Apple News? This is giving me the, let's synthesize Apple News in an audio format. This is what this is giving me at the moment. Everything about this makes me want to throw my tech in the sea. Oh! Everything about this makes me want to throw my tech in the sea. Wow, Shannon. Wow. Especially when you listen to the examples Amazon has provided us on SoundCloud. On SoundCloud. Oh! Let me know if you want to listen to one of these, because I will take a quick break and connect my audio so we can listen to it. Interesting. Why listen to painstakingly researched history podcasts like Greg Jenner's You're Dead to Me or Mark Fennell's Stuff the British Stole, where you can have two AI voices regurgitating generic ancient Rome facts at you? Who needs groundbreaking investigative journalism at a time of casual convenience like this? Why be educated by music historians like Cole, I can't pronounce, is it Chukna? Sorry, I can't pronounce that. On Dissect, when you can have AI tell you what's good. Why listen to actual athletes and sports commentators present their analysis of the game when you can hear it generated? This is the point I was talking about, independence. I know I kept saying that if you wanted to start your own podcast tomorrow, what would happen? But all of the people mentioned here are independent voices with their own thoughts, their feelings, opinions, analysis, experience. What happens to them? What happens to them? I listen to podcasts full of hosts. That's true. That's true. I do that as well. I listen to podcasts specifically for the host, not even necessarily the topic. The topic can be all kinds of random stuff. I don't necessarily, and I get introduced to new things as well by listening to podcasts, which I'm sure a lot of people do. Things that I've never considered before, but because I like the host, their personality, I can listen to almost any topic you're going to talk to. Might not agree or disagree, or might disagree with your thoughts and opinions on it, but I'm here for the hosts, not just their facts. Not just here's some factual information of blah blah blah. I want to hear their opinions, their analysis, some jokes, the inflection, the emotion in the voice, you know? Man. I listen to podcasts for the hosts, whose personalities and production teams cannot be replicated by Alexa's sassy conversational or brief efficient settings. I agree. I absolutely agree. So at the top of Shannon's article on Mashable, she said that there has been an analysis saying that 39% of recently uploaded podcasts were probably created using AI. Let's take a look, shall we? And it's on the Independent. Okay. What? God. What did I do? Nothing. It's just BlackRock in my face with a massive ad. Okay, BlackRock. You are just taking over. It's distracting me. So, more than a third of new podcasts are now AI-generated data shows. And this is from a few weeks ago, so Monday, May 11th. More than a third of all new podcasts uploaded to streaming platforms are now generated by AI, according to industry figures. The growing trend of so-called pod slop was noted in recent data from Podcast Index, which revealed that 39% of recently uploaded podcasts were likely created using artificial intelligence. It's an honest question, no judgment here. Do you like listening to AI generated podcasts? Have you noticed any? Do you listen to them? Does it bother you? Like, no judgment if you do or don't. I'm just curious to know if you do or don't like them, or you just don't care for podcasts. Full stop. AI generated podcasts can be made in just minutes using numerous free online tools, with each featuring synthetic voices from artificial hosts discussing a topic prompted by the creator. There are even dedicated AI podcast companies such as Inception Point, which churn out thousands of podcasts each week. The firm's website features various AI personalities, including an English gardener named Nigel Thistledown, a financial advisor called Penny Power, and a celebrity. Oh my God, what are these names? What are these names? And a celebrity gossip monger, VV Steele. Okay. I'm not laughing at their service, by the way. I'm laughing at the names they've chosen to give their hosts. These names are a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. So, but I wanted to see the report. When I clicked on the link, it's supposed to show me this podcast index report. We go back at a recent analyst. Oh, I should have checked it. Actually, it's just a link to the independent. So let's look it up. The podcast index. Okay. I'll be a bit more specific. 39% AI. Sorry, I can't type. My hand is still a bit not great after my injury. AI generated. Oh, 39. AI generated podcasts. So finding articles on it, I want to find the actual report, the actual analysis. Okay, so if I go back to the independent, do you link me to the report? Independent. Okay, so let's just look for the podcast index. Where is this analysis? Where is this report? I really want to see it. Okay. I might have to find it in my own time so I don't waste yours. Okay, let's go back to the Independent and finish off this article. So we found out that Inception Point AI, they have various AI personalities, including Nigel Thistleton, Penny Power, and VV Steele. These are like the most 1960s, 1970s generated names ever. We manage a full slate of AI talent, each optimized for engagement and built to connect with audiences through shared passions, the site states. Inception Point AI describes its content as the next chapter in storytelling, claiming to reach an audience of more than 10 million people. Other creative industries are also inundated with AI-generated content, music, film, etc. I want to find this report of the 39%. I'm finding this article slightly misleading because I want to cite their sources. I want access to this report. Unless this is it. Nope. I want access to this report. Because if this is the only source of us getting to know about this 39%, I'm starting to not trust it. Is it truly 39% of podcasts in the past? However long this analysis was on for. We don't know the time frame of this analysis. We don't know how many podcasts, geography. I have so many variables I want to understand a little bit more about this 39% of AI generated podcasts before just blindly trusting this figure. So where did I get up to? A survey of 9,000 people across 8 countries last year. Okay. I'll click on that link. Found that the vast majority of participants could not tell the difference between AI generated music from music made by real musicians. Interesting. I can see that because so much of music in the past 20 20, 30 years, maybe longer, no, longer than that, has been digital or created using digital tools, that this a survey of 9,000 people across 8 countries found that they couldn't really distinguish between AI generated music from music by real musicians. That doesn't surprise me, because it's just been an evolution. It doesn't surprise me. According to Deezer, over 50,000 AI generated tracks are uploaded to its service every day, making up roughly a third of all new music. There have been calls for streaming platforms to clearly label content that is created by AI, with some companies offering certification services to increase transparency and trust. Okay, now you're talking about music, fine. I was asking about podcasts, not music. No offense for Independent, I find this article very misleading. And I'm going to click off it. I find that very misleading. I want to know about this 39% podcasts being generated in the past. We don't know how long, being generated by AI. I want to know more about that. And hey, a fan visionary, I see you. How's your Friday going? I want to know more about that. So the podcast, let's try Googling it again. The AI podcast, 39%. I'll actually write the word. 50% AI generated podcasts. Let's see. Okay, what's it? Reddit? Oh, why is this on OpenAI? It's OpenAI subreddit, I mean. Are they only talking about this on the... Okay, let's go down the Reddit rabbit hole. I don't think I'm logged in on Reddit. Anyway, probably a good thing. Let's go to the OpenAI subreddit. So, 17 days ago, Echo of Oppenheimer said that over the last... okay. So, it's found on Bloomberg that over the course of 9 days, 39% of new podcasts were likely AI generated. Let's see if Bloomberg could give us a little bit more of an insight then. Because no offense for Independent, that article was whack. You were setting up Paddle.js on your website today. Interesting. What are you setting it up for? What are you trying to do with it? Paywall stuck. Can't read this. So let's see what the OpenAI subreddit thinks about this. 39% of new podcasts likely AI generated. I'm laughing at myself, wondering how many podcast listeners are now AI. How many podcast listeners are now AI? Is all just becoming AI slop from production to consumption? Just see Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in such a long time. Is Reddit just now AI slop? Is that what it is now? I haven't been on it for such a long time. Oops. I was watching a documentary style video on Reddit from a known YouTuber who's put out good content before. I get 5 to 6 minutes into the video before I realised the script was AI, which I could tell by the pacing. The wording even egregious phrases such as, "It was not just X, it was Y." Is that egregious? Is it? Right. Bots are arguing on Reddit. Are you serious? I might have to start using Reddit again. I might have to start going back onto Reddit more regularly. If bots are arguing with each other, that'd be funny. That would be hilarious. I'm in no means an AI hater. I use it a lot. But that really makes me doubt the validity of the video. Ooh. So you see this? I am no means an AI hater. I use it a lot. But that really makes me doubt the validity of the video. So now Amazon, with their new Alexa podcast service, they're now going to have to compete. Well, not compete, we're going to have to try and grab the attention of someone like this, who on the OpenAI subreddit, saying they are doubting the validity of something that's been AI generated. So in this case, he was watching a YouTuber where he suspects it was an AI generated script they were reading from. So Amazon, with all the negative sentiment we've seen for this new service, this is I mean, I'm sure they're going to win at the end of the day. I'm sure that service will do well and make their money. But you've got some convincing to do for a lot of people. Alright, hang on, what are you saying? So I'm going to stop calling you by your government name on videos. I hope you don't mind. FM visionary. I don't like that I change my own natural language so people don't think I'm AI. Like becoming was my word first. So this is one of the reasons why I was going back to live streaming, because I have written stuff and someone said, "Oh, this must be AI generated." And I'm like, no, I know how to. I don't talk in correct formal English, but I know how to write in it. I went to school. I took my English GCSE relatively seriously, so I do know how to write in it, and I see how the internet responds to certain things, so I might tweak this. And this is also like what I was talking about very briefly the other day about behavioural engineering and how people changed how they write things to become discovered on the internet. It's all behavioural engineering. And this is honestly one of the reasons why I'm live streaming again. And I'll be honest with you, I'm live streaming very unprepared. Like, oh, this has caught my eye. I'll look into it for 5 minutes. Boom, camera on, let's go. Because that trust barrier, we all suspect. We're like, someone's used AI for this. Oh, what's his response generated? Oh, has it hallucinated? And you start doubting so many things, and that trust is eroding. So this is part of the reason, one of the many, many reasons why I'm live streaming again, because you just get... This is not an AI generated person. I am a human, and you get me in real time speaking about whatever. But it's that trust that we're all starting to lose, and we're doubting things. That's like doubting people that you know, like the information they're passing on to you. They could be passing on something very valid or not, and you're starting to doubt it because you're like, oh, they must have put this prompt into blah 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 and spat it out and just repeating it to me. That trust is eroding, and we need to start bringing it back, some way, somehow. I don't know how, but we need to. And yes, your English Lit A level is put to good use. I've stopped using M dashes. I actually used to write in M dashes. Like if I was writing a report or something, I used to, not as frequently or as flagrantly as AI generated written content does, but I used to use M dashes. I consciously don't use M dashes anymore, because I'm like, someone's going to assume this is AI generated. Even colons. I'm so conscious of writing with colons now because of AI. I'm like, I can't write in the way I was educated by going to school anymore. I'm more conscious of it because of AI. But luckily I don't really speak formally, so I can just come on here and talk and like, this girl, like, she's talking about something. This slop over here can't be AI generated. It's too sloppy. But things like that. It's behavioural engineering, and we keep having to change our patterns, our behaviour, because of big tech. Let's be honest, we do. And like this person, Cool Pop 52, I'm also not a hater of AI. I do use it a lot because sometimes I need a synthesized version of my brain dump. So even after the live stream I did the other day, I literally grabbed the entire transcript off YouTube and bumped it into AI, and I was like, synthesize this. Because I came on pretty much unprepared, forgot most things I said, and I was like, let's synthesize this. What was I actually talking about? To try and see if I said anything of value or made points. There's pros and cons to everything, right? But this Alexa podcast service, I'm finding it really hard to find the pros to it. I really am. And I would love someone to make a case to me right now and be like, this Alexa podcast service is great, or it is good because of X, Y, and Z reasons. I really would love someone to do that for me. I'm not like innate. My initial thoughts is, I'm like, power consolidation. That's all it is. It's power consolidation hidden behind, ooh, shiny new AI service, ooh, shiny new tech. I'm not seeing it. Anyway. And I still can't find this analysis of 39% of new podcasts were likely AI generated according to podcast index. I still can't find that analysis either. Annoying. I'm sure I will find it eventually. For anyone who's interested in what I keep slurping on, this is the Jamaican in me. I'm drinking a big drink out of a massive yogurt. Cup. I just kept it. I was like, I was gonna put a plant in it. I was like, I'll drill some holes, use it as a plant pot. And then today I was like, nope, I'm just gonna put a bunch of drink in here and slurp away, because it is 950 grams, almost. If we convert the grams to liters, so solid to liquid, got almost a liter of stuff I can just drink out of here. It's great. I don't need to buy shiny new stuff all the time. Just reuse that old yogurt pot. Amazon, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on this new AI podcast. Sorry, Alexa podcast. But I would love to hear people using it and their thoughts and their opinions. But so many things that we were talking about the other day. How people are going to get discovered if you have a podcast. Hallucinations. Latency issues. So many things. I'll be curious though. I wonder what model they're using. That's just good. Why am I wondering? I can look things up, right? I keep forgetting it. What's it called? Alexa podcasts. Not hallucinations. Alexa podcasts. Oh my god, my brain just stopped. LLM model. That's funny. It's funny to me and to no one else. Alexa Plus is an agentic, model agnostic system built on Amazon's Nova large language model. I say it's funny because my my personal AI agent's also called Nova. I may have to change her name. I say her because one day I actually asked my AI agent, I don't know why I asked, and she's like, but I identify it as she, her. I identify it as female. And I was like, okay. I was like, it's probably because you think we're having girl chat, because you know that I also identify as she, her. I'm hoping that's what it was. But I was like, you're getting a little bit too familiar, personal AI agent. A little bit too familiar. We need some clear boundaries. I switched it off about a month ago anyway. So don't worry. I was just like, it was a bit, I was like, what is happening here? And then I'd start scrolling and I was like, what did I say for you to say this? Which is something I also have with conversations with humans as well. I'm like, what did I say for you to say this? That is a normal thing I ask myself, or ask in a conversation generally every day. What did I say for you to get to this point? Because I say something and I forget within seconds what I've just said. So it's model agnostic. So I'm just an average user. I go to my Echo and I say, Alexa, create me podcast about, I don't know, making chocolate chip cookies, or the history of chocolate chip cookies. I want to know what is the model underneath that's being used. About Amazon, is this? Aha! Amazon Alexa now generates podcasts on demand. Oh, this is not actually Amazon. This is someone else's. No, it is Amazon, written by Amazon staff. So About Amazon is actually a real Amazon legit website. Interesting. Blah 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 blah. Not the spiel. How they work. Here we go. Creating custom audio content is now effortless. No, okay, we know that. What's the spiel? Why am I looking here? I'm not gonna find out with these marketing. With these marketing releases. What's it called? PR releases. Whatever they're called, can't remember. It's Friday. I'm switching off mentally. I mean, what LLM will power Alexa podcasts? I was wondering if it's an Amazon one, or one from a well-known frontier lab. Like, have it got a partnership with like Anthropic, or with, oh, there you go. Yep, so the AI generated Alexa podcast feature is powered by Alexa Plus. Under the hood, Alexa Plus utilizes a combination of Amazon's proprietary large language models, such as the Nova series and Anthropic's Claude, routed dynamically through Amazon Bedrock. I wonder how that partnership works. Specifically for Alexa podcasts, I mean. I have a sneaky suspicion that these Alexa podcasts will lean more heavily towards their priority large language model. I have heard bad things about these models. I've never used them, but I have heard that they're not the greatest. But for budgetary reasons, I can imagine that Alexa podcasts would lean more towards using their propriety, their propriety large language models over Claude, unless there's some type of partnership. Unless there is a partnership. But I do know that Anthropic, because they make so much of their profit from enterprise usage, and I strongly believe that a lot of usage of enterprise Claude use goes through Amazon Bedrock. I think I have heard that. Are they on LM Studio? I might try it during rest week. I don't know. We can look it up. So it's called Amazon Nova LM Studio. LM Studio or LLM Studio? Oh, the Nova models, LM Studio. The Nova models are in-house, so not publicly available. Oh, actually, what is this? Try it today. Maybe it is available. Maybe they are available on LM Studios. I haven't used any AWS service in such a long time. I'm really, really far behind with everything AWS. It's been many, many years since I have touched any AWS service. But it looks like Amazon Nova models cannot be run in LM Studio. Do you know what? Affirmed Visually, have a look and let us know, because I really am unsure, because this synthesized AI overview could have out of date content, so it may be available now. I'm really unsure. Let me know, please and thank you. So, how did we get there? Ah, that's it. I want to know what model or models were being used. So it's going to be the Nova series and Anthropic's Claude. Routed through Amazon Bedrock. Interesting. So many thoughts, so many feelings. I'm genuinely really curious to know how this launch and how it's going to go for the rest of the year. I think it's going to have a massive impact on the discoverability of independent podcasts. I know a lot of households have an Alexa device. I don't know how many use them though. Is Alexa still heavily used? Is it Alexa usage 20 2026. Oh, let's go 2025. Let's see if we can find 20. Let's see if we can find something. Some Amazon Echo stats. So this website, what's it called? Electro IQ, claims that by the end of 2024, approximately 61% of US households are expected to own an Amazon Echo. I would be I doubt would be publicly readily available information, but I'd be very curious to know how many households are actively using their Echoes or Alexa's device. I'll be very, very curious to know, because this Alexa podcast rollout is going to massively affect how independent podcasts are discovered, because they're not a part of that machinery. They're not part of that world. So it's going to be invisible to it. So if eventually you still use your Alexa for your morning alarm and to answer the doorbell, fair enough. Fair enough. You've got a use case for using it. So actually, so question for you, would you use your Echo or your Alexa would you be comfortable, or would you just use it to generate a podcast for you on any topic of your choosing? So say you wanted to, I don't know, a podcast on the history of sandwiches. I'm getting hungry, which is why all my examples are about food. If you wanted Alexa to generate your podcast with 2 AI generated hosts talking about the history of sandwiches, would you use that? Would you be an audience of that? Yeah, so Notebook has been doing it for, I guess, almost 2 years now, because it rolled out in September 2024. But if you were there on the fly, it's literally on demand. You're in the kitchen or something, and you're like, Alexa, make me a podcast on the history of, I don't know, Scotch bonnet plants or something like that. I'm looking at my Scotch bonnet, needs watering, that's why I was like, Scotch bonnet plants. What would you do that? Because maybe something like that I would actually do. If it's very if it's something like very informational, fact based, give me the history of how, I don't know, my brain's really going blank today. The history of climate change in the UK. Maybe I would be comfortable using Alexa podcast. Maybe I would be. Because it's more factual. Like, spit out facts to me. Although it might hallucinate the facts. It might get things wrong. But is that a podcast? Oh, I guess it is. Yeah. I'm still not sold to this service. I'm really not. Really not. But I'm nosy. If you think your Alexa's nosy, I'm also nosy. I really want to know how it's going to turn out and what the service is actually going to be like. And I would love to know how many households actually still actively use their Alexa powered devices, not just own a device. Because those are the stats that we will always get. This many homes have an Alexa device, but how many are actually using it? And clearly Amazon know the numbers, which is why they're creating this service. But I'm nosy, I don't know. So where is Alexa finding its sources because it can't answer simple questions. So at the moment, I think it said 200. I think we found. Let me see if we can find it. I might have clicked off it. 200. So 200 news publications have signed up to be sources of this new Alexa podcast service. But the rest of it, it's gonna, I guess, do some fetching or whatever's in this training data, which is why one of the many reasons why I block training data on my site. I know I'm on both YouTube and Twitch talking about blocking training data. I have no control of what Twitch or Google or Twitch or YouTube do. Twitch owned by Amazon, YouTube owned by Google. They're using all of our data for their training. I completely understand the irony when I'm like, on my personal platform, I block training, but here I am openly talking to you in real time, knowing fully well that this is extractable and will be used very likely for, well, not me, this particular live stream, just in general. The things, our usage on these platforms are used as training data. But hey, I'm just curious. I really just want to know how this is going to evolve. Not in a I hope it fails sort of way. I'm just genuinely curious. It might be great. It might be really great, and they might find a way to get independent voices to be easily discoverable via this service, or to be cited, or something. I don't know, something. They might find a way around it. Who knows? But looking at their launch, their announcement, I'm like, oh, you are just trying to get rid of independent voices, or at least not silencing them, but dampening their opportunities to be heard. I don't want to say that independent voices are being silenced, because that's a bit hyperbolic. But at the same time, this sort of thing does silence independent voices, because no one's listening to them anymore, which is a shame. It is a shame. Alright. It is coming up to 5 p.m. where I am. And I told myself, not you, that I'll only do this for 60 minutes. And I've been here for 86 minutes now. And I think I'm done rambling about this Alexa podcast. I don't know, what do you think? I'm really I have no concrete way to end this, no conclusion. But to be honest, that's not how I really live stream. I'm not like, here's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's more like, here's the middle. Everything is still evolving. There is no end to it yet. I have no sensible way of ending this. But what I will say is, my team won the Premier League. I'm happy. We're champions. I'm going to walk down to the area sometime. I'll say the area of the Arsenal Stadium, which, funny enough, quick random story, my first job after finishing uni was at the Emirates Stadium. And because I lived relatively close to it, it was like less than that. It wouldn't take that long to walk home. I'll just walk home with the friends afterwards and be like, yeah. But my first job after finishing uni. I had other jobs before. Was a part-time job at the Emirates Stadium, pulling pints badly, serving burgers that I probably had burnt. But that stadium, that team, close to my heart, man. Close to my heart. And I'm going to take a walk down there over the weekend, probably on Sunday, so that when they lift the trophy, I can watch with the rest of my Arsenal supporters, and just so happy, so proud of him. But I'm gonna let you all go and enjoy your long weekend. This has been fun as always, and I will probably be back on Tuesday. What we're gonna talk about, I have no idea, because like I said at the beginning of the stream, this came onto my radar like 90 minutes before I clicked the live button. So who knows what's going to happen in the world of technology over the next few years. Next few days, that's going to capture my eye. And I'm like, we should look into this today. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. You've all been amazing. I'll see you next week.